Like,
shit.
we on.
Man. That would have been hilarious. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey,
Another week.
look,
Another week.
another week, another Raider game, man. We gonna keep it positive today. We gonna mix it up. We gonna mix it up. We gonna keep it positive today.
We gonna mix it up. We gonna mix it up. You know, gotta mix it up, man. You know, hey, I live in LA, man. So it's been fireworks going off like the past day and a half because of the Dodgers.
Oh yeah, you're a Dodgers fan, so I know you. That's big time. Hey,
yeah.
Shout out to Magic Johnson, man. Ever since he went into that ownership group, bro, they've been winning World Series left and right, man. But don't forget to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the five rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
One of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, they just shot a few of my shits down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow, my cloaking devices just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. Let's rock and roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, but now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas, you wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause you're mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scrambled they spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history. I can't explain it.
We back for another edition of Around the Shield. As you see it on the screen, and myself, Fair NFL. Obviously, we got the severe Raider. Mike is out this week, Big Mike Raider. But hey, we're still going to be seen on all channels. So make sure to clock in, like the thumbs, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through. Hey, it's another week, another Raider game. We still gonna keep it. We're gonna still keep coming out, man. We like a lot of people think, hey, look, the Raider season's over. We gonna stop doing shows. We gonna stop talking about this team. It's a lot to talk about right now, man. I know everybody's probably down because the season ain't going the way we're supposed to. But hey,
yeah,
I'm gonna throw it out there, even though it's probably it's not going to be believable at this point, but anything could happen. You know what I mean? Anything could happen. The Raiders could go on a run, make it to the playoffs, but
so you're saying there's a chance,
man. It's funny too, and we'll get into it. But shout out to Ted. He had a tweet that like made a whole lot of sense to me. Like when you're a team that is ahead of a schedule, meaning you're winning early on, but you still have holes on the roster, that's probably a bad thing more than it is a good thing.
Exactly.
And we'll get into that conversation a little bit later.
Yes,
sneak preview, tank or not to tank. But we'll get there in a second, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Man, Severe, what's going on, man? Look, we're shooting this on Halloween, so hopefully everybody's having a safe Halloween with the family and stuff like that. Yeah. But what's going on with you, Severe?
Oh man, nothing much, man. I got a little bit of a taste of winning. With the Dodgers winning the World Series, man. I'm not even really a baseball fan like that. I support the Dodgers by default. I'm not really a baseball watcher, but just being able to get a taste of what that feels like, man. It was like, like that's delicious. Like I want some more of that. But for teams I really care about, namely the Raiders, man. So, it's nice. And the Dodgers went through a very dark period of time, with their ownership. Two different owners, they had, and that's a little bit of a word of warning. I know a lot of people want to, They don't want Mark Davis to have a team. They want Mark Davis to sell the team. And the Dodgers, they had a ownership group before, and it was horrible. And they're like, oh man, we need to get rid of these guys. They're a horrible ownership group. And then they brought in Frank McCourt, and Frank McCourt was worse. Yeah. And then the only reason they were able to get out of that situation is because basically Frank McCourt and his wife got divorced. And it was irreconcilable how they were going to split up the team. So basically, they were forced to sell the team. So they got lucky. Like we could still be stuck in that situation if not for that divorce and not for their irreconcilable differences. So like it was a situation where we thought the ownership group people thought what they had before Frank McCourt was bad, and Frank McCourt came in and he was worse. So they got lucky that he was forced to sell the team because of his divorce. If not, the Dodgers would still be out in the wilderness looking horrible. So, like,
you think he's mad about it?
What?
You think he's mad about it? Like, because he had to sell the divorce. It sounded like he had to sell the team. It didn't seem like it was his choice to sell the team. Basically. So,
I'm sure at the time, but that was the Dodgers weren't winning anything at that time anyway. So it's not like it was.
But still, man, it's a huge mark. It's the Dodgers historical team. Yeah. Like, come on, I'm sure he didn't want to do that. It's like that's like Mark Davis being forced to sell the team. Like, come on, like it's the Raiders. Like it is what it is. But what you really are trying to say is that how ownership can really make a difference, And like we said during the countdown, like Magic Johnson was part of the ownership group that bought the team, and man, this is why I was hoping that Magic was gonna come to the Raiders. Hopefully Tom Brady has that effect on the franchise, but the reason why I wanted Magic, because we've seen him be successful when he's added to that ownership group, because he's gonna make sure to get the people that know what they're doing to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hopefully Tom has that effect with the Raiders, because right now, the Commanders looking like so far like they made the right decision in drafting Jaden Daniels, and he looks good early on. But that's a whole
I think Magic. If I want to say I read this somewhere that Magic as an owner has titles in 4 different leagues. So he was minority. He's a minority owner with the Lakers when they won titles. I want to say he's a minority owner with the Sparks when they won titles. I think he's minority owner with LAFC, I believe. LAFC, the soccer team out here, and then I want to say they won. If not, maybe it's the Galaxy. I don't follow soccer. Then and then of course the Dodgers. So that's 4 different leagues.
If I did follow soccer, it wouldn't be Major League Soccer. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It'll be like it'll be some some European
leagues. That's where all the top leagues are, right? The top leagues.
Exactly. Yeah. This is the MLS is basically like the Jets, where people come here, like the stars come here to collect the check.
It's where basically it's where it's basically where like
and die.
Top,
but they're still way better
players,
than all the other guys. Yeah.
Yep. Like a lot of the top players, they're in like, obviously they're done. They're past their prime, but they still can get cashed out by MLS. But that's a whole different conversation for another day. But let's get into it, man. The Raiders do have a game this week, man. It's the Bengals versus the Raiders. And this is gonna be a test for this defense. I think this might be the best offense that they faced overall, as far as how well they're playing
at that time.
No, it's like I wouldn't say overall. Like their Russian offense is really, they can't run the ball. But they do got Joe Flacco out there. I mean not Joe Flacco, but they do got
Joe Burrow
out there, and hey, they got some weapons on offense, and it's gonna be a big test. The Raiders defense, on the other hand, like as much as we've been talking about how like they haven't been as good, they're not too bad. You know what I mean? They're like top 12 in pass defense. So, but we know that they're dealing with a lot of injuries, and it's going to be tough like to go against some of these teams moving forward, especially these good quarterbacks that they're going to be playing against. Last week it was Mahomes, but we've seen the Chiefs. The Raiders were able to play well against them, but then the Chiefs have their own issues. They haven't been as good as their record shows. I know they're 7-0, but I think this might be a little test this week as far as facing at least an offense that got weapons and they're playing well. I mean, as far as passing the football, but running the football is another story. I think losing Joe Mixon has been a big hit on that offense. And they added Zach Moss over free agency this year. I'm not sure if he's playing up to, I'm not sure if he's hurt or playing well, but their rushing offense ain't there yet. But what do you think of this matchup against the Bengals?
Yeah, man, Joe Burrow's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. He has 2 of the better receivers, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They have been struggling running, but that's in large part their offensive line. So that's where we can make some kind of headway there. Max Crosby. He's going to do Max Crosby things. We saw Tyree get a sack last week. Looking a little bit closer at it, he did that. He still didn't do a pass rush move. It was still just a bull rush. It just happened to work that time. But hey, anything we can get out of him to help build some confidence, maybe get some momentum going forward, that's a positive thing. Adam, saw some good things from Adam Butler. Matthew Butler, showed some flashes. We saw John Jenkins get the deflection on that interception that Merrick had. Merrick had a good game. I think Nate Hobbs had a good game. So I think the defense played well last week. So as you said, it's going to be a big test. We haven't had a passing offense this prolific, this year. I think overall the Ravens are better offense, overall, but we caught them at a good time. We caught them before they had really kind of figured out how to work King Henry into the offense, and we've seen that, now that they've kind of got that going, like they're destroying the league, right? They're King Henry's leading the league in just about every category for a running back: touches, yards, all that, touchdowns, all that stuff. So we caught them at a good time. So this is going to be a huge test, especially for our secondary. This is going to be the week that we see Ja'Cory Bennett. Is this real, or is this fugazi? Because you're going to get it, whether it's T. Higgins or Jamar Chase, you likely going to get tested.
Yeah. No, this is going to be a big test for the secondary for sure. There was a rumor, though, that T. Higgins is available for trade. There's some rumor in social media saying that, GMs they're saying keep an eye out on T. Higgins being a trade candidate. Yeah. Do you think the Raiders should – he's 25 years old. He's going to be a free agent next year. You think the Raiders should possibly look into that?
No. At this point, man, I don't want to do any. This is a conversation for later on, but I don't want to do anything to jeopardize the plan. And my plan is very clear what I think the Raiders should do. And going out and getting T. Higgins is not a part of that plan. So that's one of those moves. Like, that was the same thing with the Derek Carr move. I know a lot of people were mad we got rid of Derek Carr and we didn't have a backup plan. But, part of the reason you get rid of Derek Carr is if you want to upgrade, obviously. But even if you don't upgrade, you don't want to be middle of the pack, right? Especially not in the NFL where there is no, lottery. In the NBA, they have a lottery system. So there's still a chance you can get the number one pick. In the NFL, the worst team gets the higher pick. So you're not incentivized to be middle of the road. That's not the place for you. You need to either be contending or bad. Like, those are the places you want to be. And, we were just in that middle space. And I think adding a guy like T. Higgins, that's only kind of pushes us closer to that middle space, further away from some of the more elite prospects in this year's upcoming draft.
No, I agree. I don't think the Raiders should jeopardize trading. Most likely, I'm sure Bengals are probably going to be asking for a first-round pick, second-round pick. He's a young, receiver entering his prime, and teams, I'm sure, view him as a guy that can be number one receiver on their team. So I'm sure they're going to ask for that. But I think what might decrease the offer might be because the team that does trade for him has to sign him to a contract, a long-term deal. Now, if the trade compensation is only a 5th or 6th round pick, or even, I'm not gonna be 4th round pick. I'll even throw a 4th round pick. I'll do it. I would do it. That's there are educated gambles. You can take gambles where hey, look, it makes sense to gamble on a 25-year-old player who's this. You pay the young players, but when they hit that 28 age, I noticed that teams tend to not want to offer big contracts because, to be honest, sometimes they take that big contract and they're not as good as they were when they were earlier in their prime. But and the injuries could set in. Who knows? They're not as hungry as they once were. There's only a certain players, I think, the exceptional can't miss, and those players usually are not available, that you would even give big time contracts even later in their career. I don't know, good examples of I would give Max that type of deal. You know what I mean? Because that's how great a player he is, and if he continues to play at a high level, then you can expect to a team would pay for a guy like Max Crosby. Now with T. Higgins, if it's a fourth might be tough because that could be possible compensation to trade up, so that might be pushing it. But 5th or 6th for sure. 5th or 6th for sure. But at the end of the day, he's scheduled to be a free agent. You know what I mean? He's scheduled to be a free agent. I think I'm not sure how the Bengals are going to handle this situation once free agent. Let's say if they don't trade him over the trade deadline. once free agency comes, are they going to franchise him and then trade him? You know, like how the Packers did, you know, Devontae, and then eventually, obviously, they traded, you know, Devontae to the Raiders. But is that going to be the type of deal that they're going to do, like, so they can guarantee how much first-round picks? But I'm not sure if he's the caliber of player that Devontae was, where you can guarantee that he was going to get, like, you know, teams would trade a couple of first-round picks for a guy like Devontae. T. Higgins, he's kind of like, he's a number one. I can envision him being a number one, but, like, I think he's like a step or two above, like, Michael Pittman.
Yes.
Step or two above Michael Pittman. I think he's like that mid-tier. Like, that top tier is guys like Justin Jefferson and, you know,
Jamar Chase, Tyreek.
Tyreek, Devontae when he's playing at his best. You know what I mean? Right now, it's kind of hard to say.
Amon-Ra.
Yeah. So those are guys that you would probably consider like top tier, but that in the middle, because T. Higgins, we haven't really seen him to a certain extent, him just kind of be the guy leading the way. Like, he's maybe his rookie season, and then like Jamar Chase kind of came in his second year, which was kind of like surprising, but they just couldn't pass up on like Jamar Chase and, you know, and that Joe Burrow connection that he had in college. So, you know, that's what the Bengals have, man. They got a strong 1-2 combination. In the Raiders corner, like earlier in the week, we played a clip of you know, DeAndre Hopkins talking about how good for years to come the Raiders corners, like you know, obviously, you know, we're talking about, you know, I'm running a blank right now.
Jack Jones and Jacorian Bennett.
Jack Jones, Jacorian Bennett. He's saying that, you know, they're going to be good for years, which is, you know, respect from a great in a game. So that says a lot. But this is going to be a big test for them this week, man. Big test, for sure.
Definitely. I mean, and I feel what you're saying in terms of the value of T. Higgins, because I do think, you know, I don't know if he's this caliber of player, but T. Higgins is probably maybe a step or two below what people kind of thought of A.J. Brown when A.J. Brown was with Tennessee. And now I think people would say A.J. Brown is one of those elite guys as well. So, but the only danger is that why would we particularly trade for T. Higgins and give up, even if it's just a fifth or a sixth, why even give that up when, you know, like he might not even want to sign, right? So first of all, we'd have to have a contract. We have to have a contract in place first. But even if we do that, like, our quarterback situation is bad. So he like, what's gonna happen in 2 years when he was like, yo, bro, y'all ain't fixed this quarterback situation. Like, I want to get up out of here, right? So that I think we you know, we wanna I think all signs, all paths lead to one thing, man. We have to address the signal.
Look at the Bears. Yeah. The Bears, they, you know, were basically weapons after weapons because they knew that they're going to get a quarterback. So they wanted to make sure that transition for that young QB coming in had weapons all around him, which I'm not saying the Raiders don't necessarily have, but when you remove Devontae from the equation, which obviously was traded, then everybody goes up one level. Brock Bauer is going to have a prominent role, which I'm not mad at right now. Early on, he looks like he's going to be the focal point of the offense. Like, you know what I mean? The way he's playing, like, the Raiders can easily go that route. Michael Mayer, we all heard Antonio Pierce earlier this week when asked if he was how close he was. He said he's pretty close to coming. I know the list that he's currently on. He's not going to. Is that pause worthy? Oh man, you know what I mean?
Oh, yo, pause.
God damn.
Oh man, you caught that. You caught that early. He was like right on it too. You're like
early. Man, but I mean, now go finish your point, man. I know you was cooking till I threw you off.
Yeah, you threw me off. I was trying to. What was that?
you said some filth about Michael Mayer.
Oh yeah. So Michael Mayer, he's literally close to coming back, but I think based off the exempt list that he's on, he's not eligible to come back until like week 11, I believe. So, which means that if he's saying that he's close, then he might be ready to play now, but he won't be able to come back until then. So, I actually want to see that. I want to see how the offense looks with Michael Mayer in there. Let's get him involved. That's what I want to see. I want to see guys that are gonna stay on here long term or can possibly stay long term to get some PT. And then we can judge and see like, all right, is this a guy that we want on this team moving forward? Like, we all kind of like Michael Mayer, but obviously we weren't able to see that 1-2 combination, especially ever since Devontae left. We haven't seen Michael Mayer for a minute. Like I don't know, what was the last time he played? I remember the last game that he played. I think it was like probably early in the season. So I want to see that happen, and then I think. And that speaks to what I said earlier in the week too, as far as like younger players playing. That's what I want to see moving forward with this team, especially even against the Bengals. I want to see the Dylan Lobbies play. I want to see some of these receivers. I want to see guys come in and get a featured role, and like I just want to see how well they can play against better competition. And I think the Raiders would make a mistake trying to play the best players that they feel like the veterans or whatever. I think they should actually play the younger players right now, because right now the Raiders are 2-6. They're 2-6. They're going against a team where they're trying, even though they're like 3-5, which is Bengals have notoriously start the season slow, but I think this is probably the slowest they've start, and might be the worst team out of all the teams that started, because their defense is not as strong as it has been in years past.
Yeah.
Do you see Raiders taking advantage of the Bengals defense this week?
No, I do not. I absolutely do not. I don't. I do not see them taking advantage of this defense this week. And normally I would say I hope I'm wrong, but I actually don't hope I'm wrong. Okay, for obvious reasons. It's a situation where we don't have a lot of weapons outside of Brock Bowers. And part of the reason is because we invested in some older players, early on, in the Hunter Renfrows and the Darren Wallers. Hunter Renfro's not that old, but like we invested in some of those guys. Then Devontae Adams, right? And now that we're kind of more on a rebuilding schedule, the offense has a completely different look to it. And the reason why, like, it was different for like the Commanders and the Bears is because the Commanders they had like Sam Howell, and they a lot of people in the organization like Sam Howell, so they're trying to say, hey man, can Sam Howell be our guy? And so they wanted to give him weapons, and they already had Scary Terry, Brian Robinson, some other stuff. So, and then with the Bears, they were still trying to figure out whether or not Justin Fields could be their guy there. So they were trying to give him the weapons, like, hey, you can't say it's a weapons thing. Is it you or is it the weapons you have? So we give you good weapons and you still not winning. Well, then obviously it's you. It's time to move on. I could have told them that. They could have just called me up like, yeah, Justin Fields sucks. Hang up the phone. But we haven't been in that situation because we haven't drafted, a young quarterback with high upside that we really thought could be like the future of the franchise. I know some people were kind of wishing on the star, giving their all to believing that Aiden O'Connell could be that guy. But the guy was an older rookie. He was drafted later anyway, and some people felt he was overdrafted when we drafted him where we drafted him, right? So like he just lacked the talent to be an elite quarterback in the NFL, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like he'll carve out a nice career for himself. But we just don't have the horses on that side of the ball right now, right? Like only guy we have is Brock, and we saw what happened last week.
Jacoby.
And Jacoby's back. Jacoby's back too. But we kind of saw what happened last week. Like they kind of they did what they had to do to take those guys out of the game. And basically what they did, as Antonio Pierce talked about in the pressure, is that they dialed up the pressure. They started blitzing, making us get rid of the ball quicker. And when we did that, that kind of takes a lot of what we want to do with some of these guys out of the equation. So and we can't consistently and that's a situation where we can't consistently stay on schedule, make the right decisions, pick up these 3 and 4 yards on the pass, keep the offense on schedule, and just march down the field because you know, like, we don't have a guy that's going to do that. And I don't think we have a guy like in Gardner. I don't think Desmond Ritter's that guy. I don't think Aiden's that guy. I don't think any of them are good enough to do that consistently. So, you know, I think we're going to kind of see a repeat of what happened last week.
We'll see. Like I said, the Bengals haven't been as strong on defense like they have in years past. So there might be an opportunity for the Raiders offense to maybe possibly get something going. Obviously, I think it starts with that run game. You know, get that play action game going, make it easy for a guy like Minshew. O-line got to play their part, buy him some time, and we just got to hope and pray that Minshew does not turn the ball over. You know what I mean? It's almost like the commentators I was watching the game, they jinxed them. They're like, oh man, because literally right when they said it, they brought it up. I don't know if you were paying attention to what they were saying at that point, but you know, Minshew's issue has been turning the ball over. He hasn't turned the ball over yet, but you know, especially in a game like this where it's really close, like he has to continue. And as soon as I think Trent Green was the color analyst for that game. Like as soon as he said that, former Chief jinxed it. Yeah. Turnover happened. He fumbles.
He wasn't the Chief for that long, was he? Was he Chief?
Trent Green, yeah. I mean, Trent Green, he was there for a few years.
He was a Chief. Was he Chief for that? I was Chief for a while. I know he came from the Rams. He came from the Rams, and then Kurt Warner took his job.
Yeah, he wasn't there for like years, but like I just remember the teams that he was on. Like it was him, Tony Gonzalez, Priest Holmes.
Yeah.
The receivers was trash. You know what I mean?
The receivers was trash, but they had Dante Hall. I want to say Dante Hall was a dog. He wasn't a true receiver.
Yeah, he was more of like a game-breaking special teams return man. But like, he was a fun player to watch. Even on offense, like,
for sure,
he's super shifty. Ball in his hands, like he can make people miss. It makes you think like a player like that in today's NFL, like with the creative.
He'd be a menace
with the rules too, the way they are, like where you can't basically you can't tackle nobody. So like he's gonna be making people look crazy out there, but. It is what it is, but we'll see, man. But let's take a look at the injury report real quick before we go to the keys of the game. Let's see here, man. Let's see. Let's go. Let's get it right here. Oh wait. I just had it up. My bad. Here we go. So we got Week 9's injury report. This is the Thursday injury report. We all know the Friday injury report is the end all be all when we know like exactly who's gonna play. It's a good like way to just judge if a player is gonna play next game is that Friday practice because it's the last practice of the week. But looking at the practices so far this week, Brock Bowers was on an injury report for a rib injury. He fully practiced both Wednesday and Thursday practice. He's good to go. Harrison Bryant, elbow, limited practice. Max, ankle, we know he's dealing with that, but he fully practiced last couple weeks. He's been practicing fully, so that's a great sign for him. He's getting better, which healthy Max Crosby is going to be a dangerous player at any given moment. So that's a good thing. Andre James, I think everybody's celebrating right here. Every Raider fan. No one should be celebrating injuries, but
exactly.
But golly, man, James is just. I think he's holding that O-line back. He has an ankle injury, did not practice this week. Hey, I think we might see Jackson Powers-Johnson start at center. Dylan Parham is not on the injury report, I believe.
He's there.
He is, but he's limited. He limited this week. But you bring him in, then you have Meredith probably start at left guard, and you got Parham back to right guard. Man, I want to see what that combination gives us. I want to see how that looks like and what the O-line does this week.
So before we move on, let's ask you a question on that. So would you do this? I think most people want to see Jackson Powers-Johnson at center and Dylan Parham at left guard. But what would and I wonder what the chat would think about this as well. Just for more continuity, if we keep Jackson Powers Johnson at left guard, keep Jordan Meredith, who's played pretty well at right guard, and then play Dylan Parham at center, who also has some center experience. I know ideally they probably move Jackson Powers Johnson to center, but just for continuity's sake, what would you think of that lineup combination? And also the chat, and I want you guys to chime in as well.
Well, it depends on how well Dylan Parham plays at center. Like, how well do you think he can play at center compared to guard? Yeah. If you feel like Meredith and Jackson Powers Johnson, they can give you pretty good. They're pretty good at the guard spots. I think it just depends on how like Parham looks at center. But I'm not gonna lie, they had Jackson Powers Johnson last week at center for a few snaps. I think like 14 snaps, and he looked pretty good. He looked good. You know, yeah. So I'm like, oh man, maybe we could start that transition now. That transition now. Have Parham just keep him there at guard. And then Meredith, what you're saying is Meredith. Well, I mean Meredith, he's a backup player. He's a utility player, so his responsibility is like you got to go in there and play wherever they need you to play. So
they need you. Yeah.
So maybe put him at left guard. But if I see what you're saying, the way you kind of phrase that question, because you want to, because Meredith has been playing well while he at right guard. So I get what you're saying. But
Johnson playing well left guard. And even if Dylan Parham isn't the greatest, like he's replacing Andre James, so like not like he's replacing like you got to go out there and replace. But just after seeing how well JPJ played there, I think the likely move is JPJ to center.
Yeah,
but that was and like because he's obviously the center of the future. I think everybody. Andre James knew that too. That's why they had to call him like you good. But like Andre James, JPJ is the center of the future. So I think that's what they likely go with, especially after how well he played last week. But it's just that you don't want to do too much shuffling on the offensive line, and you either have to move Meredith over to left guard, which he hasn't played left guard at all. I don't think he played left guard at all this year. And then because Isaiah early in the year was Whitehair, so he didn't even play left guard at all this year. It's Whitehair earlier. So how much do they trust? So do they even play Jordan Meredith? Do they play him at left guard, right? Or you have to move Dylan Parham over at left guard. He struggled at left guard last year. So it's like it's a lot of moving parts in that scenario. In this situation, there's one guy that's out. You replace him with another guy who also played center in the past. And a lot of Raider Nation liked what they saw from him at center when he did play previously in Dylan Parham.
I hear you. You're like saying like I think that would be a smoother transition is having Parham play center, but I'm like, hey, start it now. This season is done. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm right there with you.
It's done. So look, we need to evaluate. We need to evaluate. Get them reps out of there. So then next season comes along. And JPJ is going to be ready to go, which I'm sure either way he's going to be ready to go because if, like, they give him that starting center spot, I'm sure the offseason, another year, playing in the NFL, strength program, all that good stuff, he's going to be ready. But, like, just let him play like this. He looked good out there. So just if he can be there at that center spot, what's the bigger impact, him at left guard or him at center?
Definitely him at center.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
I'm all for that because look, I have no interest in winning these games. At this point, I just, and we're gonna talk about that later. But I just want to evaluate the young talent, so I have no problem at all. But I'm just trying to think of, like, from the coach's standpoint, like what is something AP would do, right? Like if he's actually trying to win, what is something he'd do? But I'm not. Look, I'm like, hey. I'm throw one of them young boys out there at the other guard spot. Forget it. If you don't want to put if you don't got Meredith in your future plans, hey man, get another young guy in there at guard. F it. Let's see what you look like out here, brother. Like let's do it. I'm all for it. #SS. #SS.
Hey, we forgot to mention this. Spillane did not practice this week with the knee. That's going to be a big loss to the defense if he doesn't play. This is where Eichenberg better show his value. You know what I mean? Because which most likely, you know, it's either way, it's going to be a huge drop off because Spillane is a big playmaker on that defense, physical presence. If he can't go this game, that's going to be a big loss to the defense. Yeah. Which is a defense, man, that's dealt with a lot of injuries, man. So hopefully Spillane could possibly, you know, play that all-important Friday practice and then, you know, hopefully be a game-time decision and play. Zamir did not practice. He got a quad injury, limited practice, but, you know, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Doesn't matter, man.
The only thing about Zamir is that I think he had previously it was a groin issue. So now that it's a quad issue, that sounds like it's a completely different issue. So he could be in a situation where he's just getting banged up.
Right.
Possibly doing too much lifting this offseason, maybe too much weight. His body wasn't used to it, you know, wasn't ready for it. In terms of Spillane, bro, I don't want to see Eichenberg out there, man. Like, we've seen Eichenberg. He's no good. It's like, though, let's see Amari Burney, let's see Amari Gaynor, one of those two. Let's give them some time. Gaynor wore the green dot in preseason. Hey, man, let him get some run. I know it's going to be Eichenberg.
I want to see that. I want to see put Gaynor out there. I want to see what it's going to look like. Have him out there and just see what it looks like out there. And
is Luke Masterson on IR?
Man, I'm the way you're disgusted by Eichenberg, I'm disgusted of Matt Masterson.
I'm equally disgusted. But I'm saying, I think he's above the pecking order. On the pecking order, he's above Eichenberg. So if he can play, they're gonna throw Luke. For some reason, they love Luke Masterson. So they'll throw him out there before Eichenberg. So if he's healthy, he'll play. But I don't want to see either one of those dudes. Let Amari Gaynor get some run. Give Eichenberg some time to settle in because Spillane's he's the heart and soul of that linebacker unit. So it's gonna be a big drop off no matter who we put out there. He's our best linebacker, so you might as well see a young guy.
So pretty much Spillane and James are kind of trending to not play this game based off how much they practice this week, which is basically none. I'm actually interested to see how the Raiders deal with the offensive line. Just like, you know, Severe, you kind of mentioned how, like, what they're going to possibly do to put the players at the right spots to cover up for James Loss at center. And then Spillane, I don't want to see him miss the game. Just let's keep it simple. I don't want to see him miss the game because that's going to be a big loss for the defense. That being said, most of the players are banged up, but I think they're going to mostly play. Bengals are dealing with their injuries as well. Oh, T. Higgins dealing with a quad. Hasn't practiced all this week. Orlando. Max Crosby. Is he going to feast this week? Orlando Brown Jr., offensive tackle, did not practice this week. They're banged up. You know, Joe Burrow's always hurt. You know what I mean? He's on the injury report, but he fully practiced. He's good to go. What we got here? Yeah, for the most part, it's Amarius Mims. It was a rookie tackle. Yeah, okay. All right. So, for the most part, I think this is going to be a big loss for them. It's going to be a big help for the Raiders defense. They don't have to face T. Higgins this week. Yeah. So that's going to be big. But for the most part, I think Orlando Brown Jr., T. Higgins, they're trending like they're not going to play. But like we said earlier, that Friday practice is important. But we'll see. We'll see, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you still got Jamar Chase out there, so I think it's going to be a little bit of a break for whoever guards that other receiver. That's where that other receiver where T. Higgins is supposed to be. And I don't know who they have. I know they had Tyler Boyd, but he's no longer there. I wouldn't expect him to be after he dropped that pass to the Super Bowl. That basically cost him the game. So T. Higgins is out. I don't know what their other go-to weapon is, but T. Higgins, Jamar Chase is enough to give any team, fit. So we'll see. We shall see.
Keys to the game, man. Keys to the game. If you can give one or two or however, whatever pops into your mind as far as like what's a big key this game. If the Raiders are looking to win this game.
if the Raiders are looking to win this game. I think number one is just protecting Gardner Minshew. When he's able to be protected, he is better. Still not great, but like most quarterbacks, he is better when he has protection, especially if we keep him getting hit early in the game. When he starts to get hit early in the game, or he starts to feel the presence of pass rushers around him early in the game, that kind of causes him to speed up his processing, not go through his progressions much quicker than he should, and oftentimes he misses guys that are just about to come open if he would have stuck on a read for a little bit longer. And I think it's partly because he's been hit a whole bunch. So if we can protect him, I think we'll have some success through the air. I think that they have struggled matching up with tight ends, I want to say, this year. So this should be like a Brock Bowers heavy. Regardless, it should be a Brock Bowers heavy game anyway, because he's our best weapon right now. But even more so, against a team that I believe they're struggling to cover tight ends this year.
Well, hey, look, the Bengals defense hasn't been as good as they have in the years past, especially against the pass. It's going to be interesting to see how the Raiders respond this week as far as getting Brock Bowers involved and how Brock Bowers responds, because he was involved early on in the game, and then there was a huge span where he didn't get the football. So I definitely want to see him get involved early and often. And I think, to be honest with you, it got to be Brock. Already, Brock Bowers got to be the number one option. You got to be number one option. Then after that is Jacoby, and then everybody else. You know what I mean? I think Raiders have an opportunity to possibly, maybe get the offense going this week. But when your quarterback is Minshew and I just can't get 100% confident in it. But I would say the Raiders' strength so far this season is passing the football. So, try to set up the run by passing the football. Zamir doesn't look like he's going to play this week. So we'll see, man. I think that's going to be a big key is let's not turn the ball over. Let's not turn the ball over at all.
First
please. Yeah, the Raiders, I haven't even looked it up because I know they're probably in the top 3 worst in the league as far as their turnover differential. The Raiders are turning the ball over more than they're getting the football. So, that's just you're not going to win whole lot of football games. So we got to protect the football. And, I would say get the run game going, but at this point, I'm kind of hoping for something I don't think is going to happen. It's just not there this year. They've had their moments where they've run the football, but they just haven't had a complete game. And I don't think they just have it. I don't know if they have the talent. I don't think they have. The offensive line hasn't gelled enough, played well enough. They've dealt with injuries. I think what's worked for them is passing the football at times, and I think if they're able to mix that up and then kind of feature the run game, I think that might work, especially this game. And then just I wouldn't say don't turn the ball over. And then, defensively, if we're going to the other side of the football, man, that's going to be a big loss for the Bengals, or a big help for the Raiders defense if T. Higgins doesn't play. But either way, it's Joe Burrow. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, man. I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. But man, we'll see, man. We'll see. Hopefully the Raiders can play a good game. I'm just going to say that. Hopefully play a good. I just want to say a good football game, exciting football game, and if they can do that, man, I'll be good with that, man. To be honest with you, at this point, because we're gonna get into that conversation later in the show. But yeah, let us know in the chat, man. If y'all don't, if you haven't liked the video, make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. This is being shown on all our channels, so make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through. Just to move it along real quick. It's Around the Nation. It's that time. Sir. Around the Nation, and this is where we get into what's being talked about around the around the nation, pretty much around the Raider Nation, and see what that conversation is. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much, right? So, and the conversation has been mostly about coaching. this week.
Yeah.
That's been the main conversation. Last show, we kind of got into it a little bit. We put out a poll. I can actually put that on the screen so we can see exactly how it's doing since we shown it on nothing's really changed. And the question was, should the Raiders fire AP or offensive coordinator Luke Getsy? And this is the results. As you can see, let's see. You can see on the screen. The pictures are crazy.
It was not rocking with Luke Getsy at all, man.
They're not
rocking with Luke Getsy at all
right now. And I forgot to put out another poll because I actually want to see how people really feel about AP, because maybe this might be right now everybody's, they're not liking Luke Getsy. But if I actually want to put a poll out, and I'm gonna put it out soon, should the Raiders fire AP? Yes or no? Just straight up. I want to see how they feel about AP as a head coach. Obviously, in this poll, if they had to choose, they want to fire Luke Getsy for sure.
Exactly.
But just to see, let's take a look at some of the comments here. See some of the comments here, man. Frank White says, give AP one more year to prove himself. Y'all not tired of bringing in new coaches, GMs every year? Damn it, let us tank in peace. Man. Austin Avila, shout out to my guy, man. He says, keep both of them and evaluate at the end of the season. We need to get a franchise QB. Firing them won't help us get that. Yeah. I think when I say fire him, I'm not saying right at this very moment, but I agree with that though. I think they should evaluate at the end of the season, and I think when they do evaluate it, I think if they keep AP, definitely I think the offensive coordinator spot needs to be upgraded, especially bringing in a young QB. I'm sorry, Luke Getsy. But, you never know. You never know. We got Getsy was hired for the quitter Adams. Only calls good plays when we down. Man. You know what? If the Raiders really made Getsy the OC because of Devontae Adams, I think I would hate Devontae even more because of that. Like you really brought this guy in like he was going to do something. That's crazy.
Like it always like mystifies me when people like say stuff like that. He only calls good plays when we down. Like he was calling like he's saving all the good plays for when we losing. Like I'm gonna say these. I'm gonna say these good plays when we right. No offensive coordinator is like that. It's dictated by what the defense is going to allow you to do. And when they're up, they're going to allow you to complete passes. Shallow, rally and tackle, keep the clock moving. That's why teams be looking so good on 2-minute drills, and that's why Derek Carr used to throw for 80 yards through the first 3 quarters and 120 in the fourth, because at that point we was down. Like, we're gonna let you throw the ball and keep tackling and let the clock run.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's to me it's too risky, because on one side you can say that Getsy has been drawing up plays and people have been open. The quarterback play has been terrible. So if the quarterback play is terrible, then how do you know that he's calling a bad play? You're just assuming it because the play didn't, broke down or didn't go well. And we had this conversation, earlier in the week. A lot of people will be more critical of the coaches when clearly the player is not playing as well as they should. So the execution ain't there. But it's that's on one end. But then on the other end, there's critical moments in the game where we're like, what kind of play call is that? Like, what are you doing? And do you really trust this guy to develop the next QB, franchise QB? You want this guy here multiple years, and we already have questioned about him? I think it just makes sense to just cut your losses. Cut your losses at the end of the season. Not right now. We need him right now.
Exactly.
Not until the job is done.
The mission is not complete.
Chris says Getsy hasn't done anything since Green Bay. AP's trying to build back a lost culture. That isn't easy to do. He understands what it is, needs to go the extra 5 steps that the Raiders have no idea even to find. That is to win. Right now is where we find the true Raiders, though. The ones that fight even, though. It won't happen overnight. It takes a couple of years at a very least. Buckle up, hold on. It's going to be a ride. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
People are really polarized on this issue.
Yeah, I think you know what it is, and this is probably a problem with Raider fans is expectations. Our expectations are like we're gonna win the Super Bowl, we're gonna compete, we're gonna be one of the best teams in the NFL, but like we clearly see our quarterback situation. We clearly look at the best teams in the NFL and their quarterback situation. If you compare the Raiders quarterbacks, it's not even close. You know what I mean? Or, and the defense this year, they dealt with injuries, so maybe that might have been. There's a little bit of excuse for them. Like, all right, they're not at their, they don't got everybody in their toolkit right now. Like they don't got Christian Wilkins, they don't got Malcolm Kuntz, they don't got Marcus Epps, they don't got a few players on defense that have missed some games. Even Max Crosby, who doesn't miss games, he missed games. He played hurt, so like, they're beat up. Fire Luke, Billy man, shout out to Billy man. Fire Luke Getsy, no AP.
Yeah.
Bean Farts 4639, man, crazy name right there, man. If AP had a real QB, people would have their mouth shut. Okay, sheesh. Hey man, he just letting you know right there.
Come up with these names, like well, like what? What possesses some people to come up with these names, man?
Nathan says AP gonna learn real quick. Decisions may cost him his job.
Yeah,
man, he's real critical. I mean, Rambo, we all know he critical, man.
Yeah,
we all know, man. He not
internationally critical.
He says fire the whole staff, which means fire AP. Because when you fire the head coach, everybody got to go, right?
Look at two stock. I told you people. I told you people was gonna ask for that.
Hey, originally I had it for both. I had AP, Luke Getsy, and I had both. But when you fire AP, you're basically saying everybody.
Yeah, but people don't think like that.
Who's gonna fire AP and be like, I'm gonna keep Luke Getsy. I'm gonna keep you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm gonna keep all these other coaches. The new coaching staff, the new head coach is going to want his own coaching staff.
Yeah, but people don't think like that. People don't want it. They want blood. That's what they want.
Yeah.
They don't want to be like, oh well, logically speaking, if you fire him, then the rest of the people are gonna be fired as well because they're not gonna they're like, no, I want everybody. Fire all these mother effers. Everybody get pink slips. So that's how they want. That's how they want it.
So two sacks is where's the option
for
both?
A little bit different.
Yeah. Roland 901 said both. Fire the cannons. Keep them both. Keep them both.
Exactly. Wow. It's a nixel. That's what I said. That's a little bit different.
Keep them both.
I think I'm saying that right.
Man.
See, look. Kevin,
he might be trolling. I don't know, man. I don't know,
Kevin. Kevin Salazar is on the same thing. It's a QB thing and some O-line problems.
Okay,
same
Kevin. All right. We don't have the offensive line. Okay. Okay. You know what? I might open up the options on the poll next time. I'm gonna repost this poll and I'm gonna include AP, Luke Getsy, both, or keep
neither.
Yeah. So that's all right. I actually want to see what people would say.
It's gonna be Luke Getsy by a mile still. It's gonna be like Luke Getsy.
Nah, for sure.
It's gonna be Luke Getsy by a mile, followed by both, then followed by AP, probably.
Chill Will says, fire everybody at the end of the season. Not right now. We need AP's game management and competence and Getsy's offensive play calling comes to lose enough games and secure a high enough draft pick for a franchise QB. Man. Whew. Man, so that's another guy saying, fire everybody at the end of the season. Yeah. AP's a rookie head coach. You have to give him time, just like players do. Okay, look, see, I like that. It's a little bit sensible, yeah. and I like these too. We don't have an offensive line. I agree. Offensive line hasn't been consistent. I do think that we have some talented pieces at certain spots, but I'm going to ask you this, man, because I seen this, and we talked about this on a previous Around the Shield, and shout out to Mike. He was probably one of the first people that said it. Now that I'm starting to think, do we trade Colton Miller before his contract is up next year? Because next year is his last year on the deal. And do we get something out of it? Like, you know what? At the end, I know that's crazy to say, you know, left tackle. He's not getting paid a whole lot, but like, I think it would open up $12 million. But I don't think he's gonna hurt. His cap hit is not huge for a left tackle.
Yeah.
But next year is his last year on a deal. Do you trade him while you can get something for him? You know, you always want to trade a player 1 year ahead of time to get
rather sooner than later.
Right. Do you keep Colton Miller? Do you trade him and try to get something from him so then you can use that as trade capital to get your quarterback in this upcoming draft?
No, because who do we replace him with? And somebody in the chat's going to say Thayer Munford, and I'm going to go ape shit if you say some dumb stuff like Thayer Munford played. Like Thayer Munford can't start over DJ Glaze at right tackle, so he's not going to be an upgrade or even play on the same level as Colton Miller at left tackle. Colton Miller just turned 29. Generally, left tackles can play till their mid to late 30s. That means he has at least another 6-7 years at least. This is the first time in a long time he's had any kind of injury problems. He's usually, since he was a rookie, right? Like, so he's usually a model of health. Very consistent player for much of his career. Top 10 to 12 left tackle all these years. Like, you don't just get rid of that guy. And because you want to be able to protect your rookie quarterback. You already talked about Joe Burrow being hurt all the time. Part of that problem is because they elected to draft Jamar Chase instead of Penei Sewell. So they would have had a little bit more protection had they drafted that left tackle. We have a guy in house, may not be a super elite guy, but he's a very good left tackle, and there aren't too many in the league that are better than him. I'm not getting rid of him because you likely to get a tackle of his caliber. Generally, those guys are first, second round picks, and if you're going to have to trade up for a quarterback in this draft class, you're going to be trading first, second round picks. So it means either we got to pay another guy in free agency that's going to be about the same amount as him, or draft a guy in the first and second round, and we're likely going to have to trade those picks to get up for a quarterback if we're not in position to draft one. So I'm keeping Colton Miller.
I think you're probably going to look to draft a tackle in this upcoming draft for sure. Whether you keep Colton Miller or not, it's going to be tough because if you're going to be trading up, then that means you're going to be trading away some of the picks that you would probably use to draft a left tackle. Second round being like the earliest that you could probably do it, because if you're going to get a quarterback in the first, then that's the next biggest pick. But it's interesting because now if you think about it, you're like, man, he did take a while to come back from that injury. And like he's now like he's getting up there. I mean, he's not tackles kind of age well. Tackles age well, but injuries, if he can't stay healthy and you kind of get a sense that, hey, maybe he's getting banged up, he's not as good as he once was, then maybe you can get something out of him, especially a team that's trying to make a run at the Super Bowl who are dealing with some offensive line issues. Not the Kansas City Chiefs. We're not going to trade him to the Chiefs. We're not going to help them out, but like it could be another team who whatever team that would need O-line help at this time, and a lot of teams would need an O-line. But I'm just saying, like, if we can get like a second rounder, I mean, what's the highest that you can get for Colton Miller?
Second rounder, probably less than that.
Definitely not a first. Not a first.
No, not getting a first rounder. Probably not getting a second rounder. You can only get a third rounder for Devontae. You're probably getting a third for Colton, because whoever takes him on is going to have to give him a contract, which is part of the reason why we're trading him. So it's like they're looking at the same thing we're looking at. Like, okay, we're about to pay this guy after this year. So I think it's just better to just keep him. It's going to be difficult to find an upgrade. If we don't draft a guy in the first round, it's going to be difficult to find a guy that's better than Colton Miller playing left tackle. So it's better to just hang on to him, fix our quarterback issues. I think our offensive line is going to be much improved, especially in the future when we finally make the move to JPJ as full-time center. I know a lot of people like Thayer Munford. Obviously, he's a wide receiver now, so he's not going to be playing left tackle. So let him stay at wideout. Let Thayer Munford stay at wideout, and we'll keep Colton Miller at left tackle.
Yeah, man. We'll see, man. I just beginning of the season, I was like, I think we had this conversation with Mike here too, and I was like, nah, I don't think we should trade Colt Miller. It's not like we're paying him a whole lot of money, and he's a solid player, and we now have to use resources to replace that position. But now I'm kind of like, damn, he did take a while to recover from that injury, and then we seen him on the injury report. He's getting older. It's like, and then his last year's a deal, so eventually we're gonna have to pay him. Does he feel like he should get top 10 left tackle money? I don't know about that. I don't know if he's top 10. No, I think his consistency led him to be top 10, but I think I don't think he's that great. I don't think he's a good player, but I don't think he's a great player. Because I've seen him get dominated way too many times, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny because if you ask like people around the league that are not like Raiders fans, but are like, not casual fans, but like people actually study the game, they have a much higher opinion of Colton Miller than like the average Raider fan does. They all think he's like super underrated, right? Like all those like scouty, nerdy football guys, they're like, Colton Miller is one of the most underrated tackles in all of football, and he is, because it's like he plays a position that's not a flash position. He's been on a bad team with horrible quarterbacks in most of his career. So, so like he doesn't get the same kind of recognition that some of these other guys do, and that's what happens. Like generally, these especially you're playing offensive line, like you're recognized generally as a unit. And so if you can be like the greatest left tackle in the world, but if your offensive line unit is bad, then like they kind of hold that against you. And for a long time, we've had like bad offensive line units that weren't that great. Well, we haven't had a great, I think we were talking about it the other day, we haven't had a great offensive line unit since, we had Donald Penn and Ronnie Hudson and Kelechi Osemele and Gabe Jackson and Austin Howard. And Austin Howard was kind of the weak link, right?
Right.
And Donald Penn had been ran out of Tampa Bay. He came here and he was one of the better left tackles in the league at the time. He was getting respect, as such, because he hadn't given up a sack all year long. So I just think that, it's the grass ain't always greener. Just ask Devontae about that.
Right, man. Man, but yeah, man, hey, like we appreciate the comments. Everybody commenting from the post, man. I'm gonna try to see if I can put another poll out there just asking, because some people were like, hey man, like we should keep. Sound like y'all want to keep some of y'all said keep AP and Lou Getsy, because some of a lot of the issues are because the players aren't executing. And that makes sense. I mean, the quarterback play has been pretty bad, but I'm just not 100% sure. If Lou Getsy was your backup option, and you just had a full season with Lou Getsy, and AP right now is going to say all the right things, like, oh no, we got to execute better and yada yada yada. I know we got to coach better, but Lou Getsy's still going to be our OC. He knows that he's going to keep him the entire season. But when the end of the season, when the guy that was literally you settled for at offensive coordinator, the offseason comes up, and then you got all these offensive coordinators coming up, and you know that this is going to be a big time offseason when it comes to getting that franchise QB. I think Getsy's probably going to be let go, in my opinion. But we'll see. But yeah, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through. And that wraps up Around the Nation. That's been the talk this week, man. Everybody's been talking about Lou Getsy, AP, all that good stuff, man. So we going hopefully we'll check back in later in the season, and we'll see how a lot of y'all feel about AP and Lou Getsy. Maybe it gets better. Who knows, man. Sometimes I'm an optimist, man. I try to keep it positive, but man, when it's ugly though, I got to keep it real too. But yeah, let's move along, man. Let's get to extra point.
Yes, sir.
Extra point, and this week's extra point is actually a good segue from some of the comments that we just seen right now. and they kind of mentioned it. Tank or not to tank? That is the question. Tank or not to tank?
Yeah.
The Raiders are 2-6. Right now, if we were to look at Tankathon, we're able to look at Tankathon real quick. The Raiders are picking 7th. See if we could move that up right there. They're picking 7th, which I don't like, but as you can see, they're tied with 4, 5, 6 other teams. I mean, four other teams at least, right? And we talked about it on Monday's show, man. On not Monday's show, but on 50-50 the other day. Make sure to tune in 50-50 show every Tuesday. Some of the teams that are in front of the Raiders are picking quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Should the Raiders tank the season? I know that's like that's not what everybody wants to hear, but should they tank the season, which they're already doing? I feel like when you go into season with the quarterbacks like the Raiders did, I feel like you're kind of saying that, you know what, we're gearing up for next offseason. we're not serious about winning this season. You can't, there's no way that Tom Telesco, who's been in the NFL for years, from his days with the Colts, he's seen Peyton Manning, he's seen obviously the quarterback Justin Herbert out there, Phillip Rivers, Antonio Pierce. His teammate was Eli, where he won a couple of Super Bowls with. I'm sure that when they looked at the quarterback room, they didn't think that this is good enough to win. And I just think that they made a very strategic decision. That's very controversial to say, but now that we're looking at the season and seeing how bad it is, and how on point the beat writers were when saying how bad the offense was, and how AP tried to manage the expectations before the season. Y'all remember the comments AP had?
Yeah.
Where he was like, "Oh, it's not like we're gonna be a juggernaut offense." Before the season, before the season, you're trying to be positive and you're excited about the season. But he's like, "It's not like we're gonna be a juggernaut offense." He's trying to control the expectations there with the offense because he knows how bad it is from how it's been during the offseason. So I think the Raiders are, in my opinion, in full tank mode. They're not going to admit it. Yeah. I mean, AP's not going to admit it. I think he's going to try to win, but I think guys like Telesco, they're playing chess right now, and I think the Raiders are definitely tanking. I mean, do you think the Raiders are tanking?
Nah, I don't think. I don't say they're tanking. I think they just suck. Basically, I think they just suck. I don't think they have to
suck
tank.
On purpose, though. They suck on purpose. And when I say on purpose, I'm just saying.
They're just bad, man. I think Gardner Minshew was just bad. I think Aiden O'Connell was just bad. I think Desmond Ridder gonna get in there. He gonna be bad. I think if they throw Carter Bradley in there, he'll be bad. They just don't have a quarterback. I don't think their offensive line is getting any push at all in the run game. Everybody's savior for weeks was Alexander Madison. That motherfucker went out there and averaged 1.1 yard per carry last game.
Right.
It's just They can't run the ball. They really not that great in pass protection. They don't have enough weapons that can get separation outside of Brock and Jacoby. They're super injured on defense. They're not really getting any pass rush outside of Max Crosby, especially with Kuntz and Christian Wilkins not being there. Jack Jones he struggled a little bit in that or not played up to a number one corner standard. Jacorian Bennett, he's a very good, number two. Possibly can be turned into a number one this year, but I don't think he's a number one corner yet. So they just suck, man. They just suck. So I don't think we have to do too much. We just gotta hope we don't accidentally start winning some games, right? Like keep Gardner in there, let him throw 5 interceptions, let him fumble the ball all over the place. Give Dylan Lobby some carries. Let that fool start fumbling too. Like I'm perfectly cool. I'm perfectly cool with them giving all these young guys looks. If they want to throw Desmond, see now, don't throw Desmond Ritter. Desmond Ritter might try too hard. He might actually try to win some games.
He's playing for his football career, of course.
Exactly. He might try too hard. He might start crying in the huddle, and dudes get inspired and go out there and win some nonsense game we shouldn't have won. So nah, man, I'm just like, but all these other guys, these young guys, give them looks, man. At this point, it is no reason not to give these guys looks at all, because what are we playing for at this point? Like pride and like, I don't care about that, bro. Like I do not care about that.
I hear you, bro. I hear what you're saying, and that makes sense. They're not good, and that's like the easy answer. Like, yeah, they're definitely not good for sure. But what I'm saying is that there were certain decisions that were made where it was just too obvious. Like what, like I could understand Zamir White going into this season as a starter. I can see that. Like, oh, they're making a gamble. Like they're like, you know what? He finished the season strong last season. They're gonna see if this guy is the answer. I can understand why that. Even though I wanted them to add maybe a veteran running back that had some success, but you can't have everything. Yeah. So I understand that that Zamir White starting. Okay, the weapons that we had on offense, I can understand why they felt good about it. Like you got Devontae, you got Jacoby, you got Mike, you got Brock Bowers. I understand that completely. Offensive line, we were banged up a little bit. I can understand that, with Jackson Powers Johnson starting the season. I can understand that with Colton Miller kind of being banged up from the offseason surgery. I understand that the O-line having their issues based off their health and not just gelling early on because they haven't been together a lot, right? So I get that. But the most important position on the football team is that quarterback position. Most important position in NFL is that quarterback position. And they decided to go with a career backup and a guy that most likely will be a career backup. If we're being honest, you're projecting Aiden O'Connell, he's probably going to be a career backup. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. But when you go into it like saying, hey, we got two guys who are career backups and they're going to have an off-season QB battle. When guys who were former starters were available, like a Joe Flacco, like a Jameis Winston, like a Russell Wilson. Guess what? I just named 3 QBs who are starting right now. They're starting for their teams respectively. And Russell Wilson and Steelers, they look pretty solid. Jameis Winston just got a win the other week with his first start after Watson went down. Joe Flacco has now been named the starter for the rest of the season. Yeah. You know what I mean? Anthony Richardson, who's available in the trade, I think they're most likely going to trade him at this point. Like the way Shane Steichen was talking about him when asked if he was going to have a chance to start this season or come back, he's like, "Oh, I hope so." Like it was just it seems like he was done with him. Like I'm not sure what's going on behind the scenes.
Disgusted.
Yeah, he was disgusting, man.
He told him let me get out the game because he was tired, and Shane Steichen was disgusted with him. Every time he looks at him now, he probably gets pissed off.
Right.
He probably gets pissed every time he looks at him. Like, this fool, you can't believe. He probably went home like, you can't believe this fool told me he wanted to come out because he was tired. Because he was tired. He wanted to come out because he was tired. He knew he was about to run, and he came out because he was tired. Like, he probably has no love for that dude at all. So I wouldn't be surprised. But Chris Ballard not going to trade him, bro. Chris Ballard ain't going to do that.
He should, because you just, first of all, like, why would, he's a young player. You just literally are destroying his confidence. You're not, I just disagree with everything. Like, what is he doing? Like, this is where having a owner like Al Davis would come in and just slap the coach. Just like, I own the team. Don't. I'm just saying, like, because what Steichen is doing, I think he feels the pressure of winning, and that's what a lot of these coaches feel. Like when they don't win, their job is on the line, and that's why, like, guys like, the coach for the Panthers was like, this is not the quarterback I drafted. I'm not gonna put all my coaching career with Bryce Young. Let me get my guy, which most likely might come. It might possibly come this next draft, because Panthers are one of the worst teams in the NFL. Their only win came against the Raiders. That's sad, man. That's sad. But yeah, my thing is that the Raiders, strategically speaking, when it came to the quarterback position, I felt like that was so obvious that they knew, like they got guys in the building that are way smarter than me, that know what they're doing. They know who's good, who's not. They can break down a player. I get it. I'm not saying I know more than what the Raiders know. What I'm saying is they know what they're doing, and they're obviously making a point to be like, you know what, this is not the season where we're gonna get our guy. This is not gonna be the year. We're gonna focus on getting the guy next season. And when you do that in the most important position, it's gonna have a serious impact on the team, especially when things are not perfect. I just mentioned the O-line wasn't perfect to start season. I mentioned the injuries on defense. And then when you don't have that quarterback to cover it up a little bit before, as the season goes on, you can get healthier and get some of these players back. It's just the season's over. So, I think, in my opinion, I think the Raiders are taking, and they need to continue to lose these games so they can get their number one pick in the NFL draft. I know people don't want to hear that, but I'm keeping it real. Like, hey, look, the Raiders are not going to do nothing if we're going to keep getting Band-Aids at quarterback, for being honest.
No. Facts. I mean, just quick news. Looks like the Jets are up by 11 with like 2 minutes left in the game. So it looks like they're going to go to 3-6. So it's another team that'll be behind us. So that probably moves us up one spot to the sixth spot right now. So, I think we're moving in the right direction.
There you go. So by the time people watching this will know who the winner of that game is. So yeah, if Jets end up winning, then obviously this will change up a little bit. The Raiders will move up a little bit. So maybe get into that top 5, possibly, maybe top 6.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I think probably top 6 for sure. But yeah, man. Hey, I'm just saying, man. I think the Raiders. This is going to be an important offseason, and I think they can't do what they did last offseason and just completely ignore the most important position. Because I've seen people say, "Oh, you know what? This is not the year to get a quarterback. They should wait till 2026." I'm like, damn, like I don't think this team could afford to not even not get a quarterback or at all. Like, because the quarterback position is hard to get right to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's hard to get right period. So if you don't attack that position every offseason, then I think, and especially when you don't have your guy, then I think you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah. And then it's no guarantee you'll be bad enough in 2026 to even be in position to draft a guy. So I mean, not only will you have to be bad this year, but you have to be bad next year too. It's like that's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, man. But let us know. Hey, let us know in the chat, man. Leave a comment if you're watching the replay as well or watching the show. Let us know, man. Should the Raiders tank or not tank? And I might put out a poll in the chat. And let us know, man. Should the Raiders continue to lose games to better their draft position? Which I'm sure they're not going to say that out loud. They're not going to come out and say it. They're going to be like, you know what? We're going to play the young players now. Like, let's play some of these young players. Let's give these guys an opportunity, which means that while they make their mistakes and develop, the Raiders are probably not going to look like the best team out there. You know what I mean? Just because you put some of these young players in. But, hey, would you rather – and I said it earlier in the show, Ted had a really good tweet the other day. He said some of these teams are ahead of schedule winning early on, but they have some obviously obvious weaknesses that they need to correct in the off seasons, like in the draft or whatever. I think it's in the long run it's not really a good thing for them, because now they're not going to have a high draft pick. They're not going to get the player that they would need talent wise to help out the team, and now the team has expectations, and the reality is that they're like a few years away from competing.
Yeah. No,
all right.
Facts.
So let's move it along real quick, man. Let's get to the Week 9 game picks. Hold on, let me move this up real quick. Week 9 game picks. It's kind of we're gonna put the results were from Week 8. real quick.
Yes.
And let me see if I could put this on the screen here. Let's see. So I guess I'm gonna start it off real quick. Oh, you know what we got? Hold on. Let's see if I could get this off right. Oh no, I got you. So we got. Let me start it off real quick. So last week I went 9-6. Let me put this on the screen. It's blocking it. 9-6. You know, respectable. It's not as bad. It's not as bad as it was week 1. Week 1 was, man.
Hey, I would kill for the Raiders to have that record. 9-6. Oh, y'all looking good. It's 2 weeks to go.
Mike, you know, held it down with the 10-5 record. Hold on, let me see if I could. 10-5.
Okay.
Respectable.
And
then we got Severe coming in 12-3.
Yeah, respectable.
12-3 last week. So this is week 8 results. Overall, let me see if I can put the overall here. Man. Well, you know, overall, I'll just go ahead and just announce the record. So right now, Mike is 35-20. I'm 31-24. And Severe, man, is holding it down, man. 39-16. 39-16. So, hey, right now you got the lead. You got the lead, but hey, if you slip up, I'm just telling you, have one bad week. Because you haven't had a bad week yet. You haven't had a bad week yet. You haven't had a bad week yet. I think your worst week might have been week 1. Or not, it wasn't week 1, but it was our first week of doing game picks. Yeah. And I believe you went 7-6.
I think that was week 2. I think that was week 1. I got out, and I think I was like 10-3 week 1.
No. First week was I think all of us had our toughest weeks overall.
Okay.
And then the second week, I had a bounce back. I was 11-2, so I'm just gonna talk. I had to come back real quick after a slow week, and then I think you went 10-3. I think you went 10-3, I believe. Okay. So, but either way, Severe right now is leading the way, man. Hey, man, he's trying to get that hat. That's all I'm saying. He's trying to get that hat.
You know what it is, man.
He's trying to get that
7-3-8, man. 7-3-8. Just,
Oh my God. We'll see. We'll see how it shakes out, man. But this week we got some game picks. And if we go to, let's see, let me put this on the screen right here. All right. So let me put this on the screen here. Let's see. Boom. All right. So first game is the Broncos and Ravens. Who do you got?
Let's go with the Ravens. I mean, they're pretty obvious here. I'm going with the Ravens.
You sure? Hey, Severe, you sure? Come on, man. The Broncos won last game, man. I think they finally figured it out, man.
Yeah. I think they did finally figure out that they're not going to be able to beat the Ravens. I think they're going to figure that out on Sunday. So now, but I think it'll be a good game. I think the Broncos have a good defense. When the strength of their defense is up the middle, they have a good pass rush, great interior pass rush. But I just think Lamar Jackson is playing MVP level football. Derrick Henry has been the best back in all of the NFL. I think he's on his way to winning Offensive Player of the Year. So I got to go with the Ravens there.
Okay. Mike also went with the Ravens, and I'm also going to go with the Ravens as well. I think Ravens lost a tough game. Sure? Nah.
You can't pick some picks as me.
Hey, look, I'm gonna have some upset picks this week. You know what I mean? We'll just wait on them. But I got the Ravens this week. I think Ravens lost a tough game against a divisional team in the Browns, who I just mentioned, led by Jameis Winston. The Raiders could have easily got former starter at quarterback. I'm not saying he was the number one option at QB. I'm just saying, like, that makes more sense to me than Gardner Minshew. And I know Gardner Minshew had like solid year coming off the bench for the Colts, but man. Yeah. Anyways, let's get back to it, man. I ain't trying to stay on that topic. I understand that. I'm at this point like.
It's ironic because Gardner Minshew talks about like Jameis Winston is one of his favorite quarterbacks to watch. So that was crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And they both turn the ball over at times too. I think that's. You think that's where the comparison ends or stops?
But Jameis has a crazy arm though. Like if Gardner Minshew had that arm, Gardner Minshew would probably be a much better player because Jameis has like a legit arm,
But do you think it's because of lack of athleticism or arm talent that he's not as successful he is, or his decision making isn't where it should be? Because I feel like
part of it. Yeah, he thinks he can do things with his arm that he can't. So it's like, it's like if you trying to dunk on 10 feet, but you can't dunk, but you keep trying to dunk, but you keep getting hung on the rim. Like that's Gardner Minshew trying to complete these passes. Like he's getting hung on the rim over and over again because you gotta at some point you have to realize, bro, you can't jump that high. So just lay it up. But he wants to come through the lane and try to windmill. Like, bro, you don't got that. You can't do that.
Right. No, I hear you, man. I'm done with Minshew, man. I guess this is my way of venting and being disgusted by him. But anyways, we got the Dolphins and Bills. Who you got, man?
I'm tempted to take the Dolphins because Tua's coming back. And I think he'll round in the form, but the Bills are at home. The Bills are overall the better team. So I'm going to go with the Bills. And Keon Coleman and Josh Allen look like they're starting to get a little connection there too.
I'm going Bills too, man. I think Bills are going to try to – Bills might be that surprise team this year. No one's talking about them. You know what I mean? I don't think Kansas City's as good as they were. They're not as good as their record says. And you know how it works in the NFL, like when it comes to making a run in the playoffs, it's literally the hottest team going into the playoffs usually wins in the end. So we'll see how it shakes out. We got a few games before that late season run happens, but I think the Bills, man, are definitely a dark horse this year. I got the Bills, and Mike also picked the Bills. Mike is playing it safe this year. I mean this week.
This week, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Usually Mike is super aggressive with his upset picks.
Bro, you picked the Saints last week. You were super aggressive. You picked the Saints. You picked somebody else crazy too.
Well, I gotta pick some upsets. I'm not saying I don't have any upset wins. I mean, I gotta pick some. Like I know it's the NFL. Like any given Sunday, it is a real thing. But we do got the Saints and Panthers this week. Does Derek Carr come back this week?
I believe so. But either way, if Derek Carr wasn't coming back, I would have been tempted to pick the Panthers. But I'm gonna go with the Saints. I think Chris Olave is healthy. I think Derek Carr will be back. I think Derek Carr being back, I think they'll possibly get Alvin Kamara going. I'm going with the Saints.
Yeah, I'm going with Saints too, man. I think if Carr comes back, I think the best version of the team this year has been with Carr starting. And I think, what's crazy too is Spencer Rattler. He's kind of played against some good defenses early on, or at least some veteran defensive coaches where, you know what I mean, like it's going to be tough for a rookie to be successful, especially like a guy like Todd Bowles. Then he went against the Chargers. Chargers have one of the best defenses in the NFL. But the Panthers, I know this is in Carolina, but like this would have been a game where he could have had a nice little start. But we'll see. We'll see, man. Yeah. But let me see. I think Mike. Let's see. Mike picked. Let's see what Mike picked. Mike picked.
You picked the Saints. I remember.
Pick the Saints.
Pick the Saints. Yeah. I think we all made a pact that we're not picking the Panthers in the game this year, which is terrible because they only have one win. So we need them to win at least like 2 or 3 more.
I didn't know you guys were in the pack, man. I made a pact with myself, man, because I picked because I actually picked them.
Yeah.
It was like 1 week I actually picked them. I was like, you know what, Andy Dalton and his team, they looking like an energized team, and I picked them, and I was like, man, that was the worst mistake. Worst mistakes I can make. We got the Raiders and Bengals this week. Who you got?
Bengals. I mean, we talked ad nauseum about it. Just make it quick, Bengals.
Yeah, I got Bengals too, man. They just have a better quarterback. Just Bengals are trying to win this year. I don't know if the Raiders are. Let's see if Mike is a big believer in the Bengals. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
All right.
Mike ain't crazy, man. He ain't crazy. Mike ain't crazy.
Chargers versus Browns.
Ooh,
this is an interesting game because Jameis won last week.
Yeah.
We know how this team could look different with a different quarterback. Last year, Deshaun Watson went down. Joe Flacco came in, and they pretty much led him to the playoffs. Looked like a completely different team. This year, Joe Flacco's not playing on the team, but Jameis Winston was able to get a big win against the Ravens.
Yes.
Now you're going. This is at home in Cleveland against the Chargers, who are good defensively.
Yeah. I'm going to go with man. You know what, man? I'm gonna go with the Browns, man. I'm gonna go with the Browns. The Chargers, I think they lost 2 weeks ago against the Cardinals, and they like struggled mightily offensively. I think the Browns have. Yeah, man. I just think it's gonna be a defensive battle, and if the Chargers were at home, I'll pick the Chargers. But since the Browns are at home, I'm gonna go with the Browns.
I'm gonna go Chargers. I've been picking against the Chargers as of recently. I just hate them. I just hate the Chargers, the Broncos, and I've been picking against the Chargers too much. I think this is a game where it kind of fits in with what Harbaugh likes to do. He wants a physical game, run the football, play good defense. I think that's the type of game that they want to play. The Browns, I think, want to play that game too, but I'm gonna give the Chargers the edge. I think Herbert. Yeah. Herbert's better than Winston, and Winston might have been riding that wave, possibly. I don't know. He might have been riding that wave that first game, hella emotional, especially his comments after the game where people were, obviously cheering Deshaun Watson, and he stood up for his teammate, and he wasn't happy about it, and he led his team to a win. But I think I'm gonna pick Chargers.
Yeah. And you know what else I'm picking? The Browns. You sent me that video of him at the drive-in with his family. He's the calm bro. He don't feel no pressure from nobody. He ain't gonna let nobody. He don't care what nobody think about him. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna play his game. I think his teammates respect him. I think he's the best teammate in the league. I think I've said that before. He's one of the better leaders. I think he's by far the best teammate in the league. Probably one of the best teammates of all time, man. Just the impact he has on the guys in the locker room, man. So I think those guys are playing hard for him.
So Mike agrees with you. He got the Browns.
Oh, okay.
He got the Browns. So he might be like seeing something here. Maybe the Browns might be making because going into the season, the Browns were a team that a lot of people like going in. Yeah. It's just the quarterback. It's just Deshaun Watson just is playing pretty bad football, but it is what it is. Commanders Giants. Commanders coming off a Hail Mary win.
Yep.
But New Jersey, man, it's a weird. MetLife Stadium is a weird stadium.
Yes, it's a very weird stadium. The Commanders they're not a good defensive team. My guy Tyrone Tracy went off for the Giants last week. Malik Neighbors is a dog, but Jaden Daniels is magic, man. My nephew Jaden he's a monster. So man, No, I got to go with the Commanders. These division games are tough though, but I just think that the Commanders, they've been able to put up points, man. They've been able to, and they were able to pull it out against a very good defensive team in the Bears. So I can't pick against JD5 right now.
Yeah, I'm going with the better quarterback and the team. Commanders are hot right now.
Yeah,
it is a divisional game, so anything can happen in MetLife Stadium. It's a weird stadium, but I can't go against the Commanders right now. And Mike agrees too. He's going with Commanders.
Yeah.
Next game we got, game of the week, man. Patriots and Titans.
Man. I actually went back and forth with this game as well. Especially with Drake May out with a concussion. He's likely gonna be out with a concussion. I think he went in a protocol. But the Titans are just trash, man. I gotta go. I'm gonna go with the Patriots. Beat some. The teams they beat have been some pretty good teams, or teams that we thought would be pretty good. They beat the Bengals week 1. I think they just beat the Jets, right? So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Patriots too. I just don't think. And the thing is, I don't even think Patriots are that good, but I just don't like their whole situation. Their quarterback situation is just everything about it seems kind of dysfunctional as far as and is he even starting? Did he lose his starting spot? He might have lost the Titans.
Yeah, Will Levis, I don't think he's starting. I think Mason Rudolph is starting, but they both been trash. So
my God, Mason Rudolph is starting. Oof. Yeah, I'm definitely going Patriots. Yes. Ooh, that's
he was like Mason Rudolph.
Man.
That made me even more confident.
Mike has Tennessee though.
I can see they're at home. That's why I'm saying that they're two bad teams. I can see the home bad team winning. Traylon Burks is talented. That's the only guy. But they don't got Nuke no more. They traded him, so I can't even say DeAndre Hopkins no more. So yeah, I'm going.
Right.
Yeah, no DeAndre Hopkins either. Maybe if they had D-Hop, maybe.
Yeah. Bears and Cardinals. Bears
man,
recovering from a heartbreaking loss.
Heartbreaking loss, man. Heartbreaking loss.
But it's in Arizona.
Oh, it's in Arizona, man. This is another tough one, man. Cardinals have been my Achilles heel because I picked them 1 week. They do well for me. I picked against them last week and they win last minute. But they kind of struggled to score a little bit against the Dolphins. And the Bears are a much better defensive team. I'm gonna go with the Bears, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals do it. I'm going with Bears.
Yeah, this one's tough because I picked the Cardinals a couple times and they came through for me. So
yeah, last week they came through for you.
Yeah, and they came through for you too against the 49ers.
Yeah,
remember you picked them against the 49ers.
Picked the upset.
But I think the Bears definitely bounced back after a tough loss. I think that that left a bad taste in their mouth. I'm sure losing the way they did. They had the game in the bag.
Yeah.
Were able to. That's a tough way to lose. So I think the Bears come out.
Flag on the play moment of the year.
Definitely Tyreek Stevenson. I don't know how we forgot that, but we actually included that last minute. But yeah Tyreek Stevenson probably the worst flag in the play, man. That we've seen. Because I know if that happened with someone on the Raiders, I think we would have been calling for this dude to get benched. Don't ever want to play. To play on his team. It would have been crazy. It would have mayhem. But you know what? I'm going Bears. Going Bears. I think they bounce back. Mike. He got the Bears too.
Okay.
Man. All right. I mean, hey, look, I've picked. I'm the only one who's picked. You know what I mean? I guess you can consider it upset, man. At this, if y'all picking both the Browns, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We got the Jaguars and Eagles.
Eagles.
Philadelphia.
Eagles fan.
you thought about it for a second. You were looking at it, just like you thought about it.
Eagles, man. I mean, but look, this is Doug Peterson coming back to Philadelphia, the place that let him go after he won a Super Bowl, with his new team. Bigsby is back. He's playing well. Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas, they've built their connection. Evan Ingram is, he's familiar playing against the Eagles from when he was with the Giants. He's a monster. But it's Eagles, man. It's Eagles.
Yeah, I think I got the Eagles, and I think Mike got the Eagles too. Yep, he got the Eagles too. Moving on, man. This might be the game of the week, man. Lions and Packers.
I'm going with the Lions. They didn't they just boat race somebody last week? Did they boat? Was it the Titans? They boat raced. They boat raced somebody this past week.
Yeah, but that was like an obvious game though. That was like obvious.
Yeah, I think they put up like 40 some points on them, and like Jared Goff only had to throw for he threw for like 80 yards.
Yeah,
like I think they had two interceptions on short fields. They had like a long punt return and something. It was a crazy game. But I think they are playing on all cylinders right now. They are just they're on a whole nother level, and I don't think the Packers can keep up with them.
So my thing is I don't think Jordan Love is playing, or he might be banged up this week. So. But it is in Green Bay. It's a divisional game, big-time game. Packers have come through for me when I picked them. But, man, Packers low-key are low-key banged up this game. Josh Jacobs on the injury report. Jordan Love is on the injury report. Jair Alexander hasn't practiced all week. Man, I'm going Lions, man.
Jameson Williams about to get arrested though for the Lions. You heard?
Oh, is he gonna miss his game?
He's probably already. I think he's already gonna miss it because I think he already got suspended for violating the substance abuse or for performance-enhancing drugs. I think he was gonna get arrested. Like they're about to arrest him.
Mike got the Packers. Got the Packers.
Yeah, Mike.
It can go either way, man. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be mad if someone said the Packers. It's at home. It's a divisional game. They're gonna figure out a way to they know this team inside out. You know what I mean? So it can go either way. So I'm just going with Lions just because I feel like they're healthier at more key positions. But they did lose pass rusher for the year.
Yeah,
Aiden Hutchinson. So that was a tough loss.
Yeah, he's one of the better pass rushers too.
Yeah, I'm going Lions too. But so Mike went Packers. We both went Lions. We got Rams and Seahawks this week. Another divisional game in Seattle. Who you got?
That's a tough one too, because the Rams looked good last week. They looked really good last week. But I'm going Seahawks. I think Puka Nacua is back banged up again. I mean, generally you go with the better coach, better quarterback, and that's with the Rams. But I'm gonna roll with the Seahawks. I got a feeling y'all gonna pick the Rams. So I'm gonna roll with the Seahawks.
You got a feeling we're gonna pick the Rams?
Yeah, I got a feeling I'll pick the Rams. So again, this is a game. I can afford to take a calculated risk. I got a little cushion.
Oh man. Oof. Did DK Metcalf practice? He might miss the game.
Yeah, maybe.
Damn. And you said Nacua left with an injury recently on practice. He returned last week from injured reserve.
Yeah.
Oh man.
See, I told you that. So you pick the Rams. Not even knowing. See, It's the same knee too.
Yeah, man. I like the Rams better with like weapons. You give Sean McVay a weapon to work with, and obviously Matt Stafford. You know what? I'm gonna go Rams. Fuck it. I'm just gonna go Rams. You never know. It can go either way. It's one of those like 3-4, 4-4, two teams kind of like in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Divisional game. It's in Seattle.
It's a coin toss.
It's in Seattle. That's the thing, though. That's home field it might be the tournament, especially if Seahawks have one of the best home field advantages in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go Rams, and I think we got Mike went Rams too.
Yeah, see, I figured y'all would. Predictable.
This is your upset pick, though. This is your upset pick. That's basically your upset pick, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, it's toss up.
Yeah. Colts, Vikings. Joe Flacco.
I know. Joe Flacco out there.
Gets his official start. Like, he's an official starter. Been named official starter for the team.
Yeah.
Colts, Vikings, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Vikings. I think the Vikings have lost 2 games in a row, 2 pretty tough losses as well. I think they kind of right the ship this week. Kevin O'Connell, I think he rallies the troops. I think Justin Jefferson has a monstrous game, and I think the Vikings, I think they win pretty comfortably, actually.
So Mike, did he even pick? I don't think he picked the game.
And then might be. He didn't. You think he did?
He sent the picks, but he didn't pick the game. Am I tripping? Oh, okay. He did. He sent a second one.
Okay.
So he picked the Vikings. He picked the Vikings.
Vikings, yeah. Mike ain't crazy.
Yeah.
Are you crazy? You feeling risky?
Yeah. It's in Minnesota, and they made a trade I think recently for offensive tackle. I think they traded for the tackle from the Jaguars.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cam Robinson.
Cam Robinson, yeah, because Darisaw I think is out.
It's out for the year.
Yeah, so that's a tough injury for them. But last game, Bucks Chiefs. Who you got?
Did you pick? You picked the Vikings?
Yeah, I picked the Vikings.
Okay. Ooh. I'm tempted, but nah, I can't do it. The Buccaneers ain't got no weapons right now. I'm going Chiefs. Man. The Buccaneers. But Chris Godwin is out. I think Mike Evans is banged up. I like Rashad White, your boy Bucky Irving. I like him as well. But
yeah,
like Jalen McMillan, he ain't about to get it done, bro. He is not about to get it done. Baker might do some crazy Baker stuff, but I still think Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and he's gonna figure out a way to win. And I think his connection with DeAndre Hopkins is only gonna get better. So yeah, I'm going Chiefs.
Man, I'm not sure if this is true, but they're saying Patrick Mahomes could possibly miss this game. He's on the injury report, but I don't think he's gonna miss it. But
Yeah, I mean, I won't be, because not like they got enough cushion where it's like they ain't worried about first place in AFC. So
yeah. Man, this is tough. This is tough because if the Bucks were a little bit more healthier, then I can see this being an upset game.
Exactly. That was my point.
I could hella see it being an upset game, but Bucky Irvin did not practice. Evans didn't practice. Sterling Shepard didn't practice. Levante David did not practice.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned obviously the other receiver they had
for the year. Chris
Godwin.
Godwin
Out for the year. Godwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I got the Chiefs.
He was like, "Yeah, dog." Yeah, dog. I ain't taking that.
I ain't doing that, man. I tried. I tried to pick against the Chiefs this year. They're obviously undefeated.
Yeah.
But I want to pick the Bucks, but damn, man, they're just too banged up, man. If they had a little bit, like if they had Mike Evans, they had their receivers. Oh man, I could see Baker Mayfield.
They have Mike
going
Evans
there.
and Godwin.
Yeah. They're a completely different team. When they got them players on the outside, Mayfield is playing. I'm not gonna lie,
Playing good
Mayfield,
ball.
he's pretty solid.
Yeah, playing good
He's pretty
ball.
solid, which is crazy now. Like the more you think about it, like the Raiders had a chance to sign him, but they went with
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Your boy Jimmy G, one of your favorite QBs in the NFL, man. But you know, it is what it is.
The GOAT, Jimmy Goat. That's what the G stands for.
But yeah, man, that wraps up Week 9 game picks. We appreciate everybody coming through. We'll see how it shakes out this week. Hopefully, man, I come out on time. Hey, but the thing is, to be honest with you, like, I think the only only games that we'd pick differently were. Okay, the Rams and Seahawks. And the Chargers. The Chargers and Browns game. It's the only game that we've. So those are the two games that we got to keep an eye on right there. Those are going to be the. To be honest with you, like that's how it works when you picking these game picks and everybody picking the same team. It's usually.
What about Mike? Which one? I know he got us different on the. I know the Packers. He differed from us.
Mike, the Tennessee Patriots game. He picked Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
And the Packers Lions game. He picked the Packers.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, man. We'll see, man. We'll see.
My lead is safe no matter what. I'm gonna be at least 2 games up. At least 2 games up, regardless.
Oh man, he's talking. Hey, but you know what? You gotta talk, bro. You gotta talk trash when you up, man.
Yeah, that's math. Like, there's no way he can. If that's only you only chose 2 games different. I'm up on him for a game, so you can't catch me. You can't catch me. And me and you are too similar. It's only 2 games. So you can only cut into my lead. So I would have to have I would have to do some like crazy stuff, like pick all upsets, like lose. But it's gonna take a couple weeks. If y'all don't catch me, y'all gonna have to catch me incrementally. We for the most part we agree on most of the games. It's only like 2 or 3 games every week where we're different.
But that's how it is though. But there's gonna be 1 week. There's gonna be 1 week where all the games are gonna be close. That's the week where someone can make a big, because easily if it's a close game, then it can go either way, and if we could easily just pick more games that week that are opposite of each other. So and then we'll see, because there was 1 week where I think Mike he picked damn near all upsets. I think, and that was his best week. Yeah, like he hit on all of them, like almost. I think it was.
I think he went like 11-3, or I think he went 11-3 that week. I want to say.
Yeah.
That week I went 10-4. That's the week I went 10-4. He went 11-3.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. We'll see what happens this weekend. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clack in at this point. Clack out. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. You guys are gonna see this on all our channels. So make sure to definitely hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You'll be notified when we go live. All that good stuff. But Severe, man, let the people know where they can find you and what to look forward to.
You guys know what it is, man. This is Severe Raider on YouTube, the Severe Raider on IG, the Severe Raider on Snapchat, the Severe Raider on TikTok, the Severe Raider on X. Every Tuesday night, the 50-50 show with me and my guy Pharaoh over here. If you guys haven't done so already, the holidays are coming. And it's officially official, baby. Hit that 50-50 shop. We got the links are in the description, man. Get something for yourself, get something for your lady. Get something for your side chick too. Get everybody something, right? All of them. Y'all can be matching. What else? Then I do. We of course every Friday catch us here on Around the Shield, whether it's live or it's pre-recorded. And then Tuesdays I got a show I do with my boy Chris and my guy 805 Raider. And then, just since Mike ain't here, you guys know what's up with Big Mike. He does his stuff. New show popping off. He got every Wednesday. I think the Big Elite Show is what it's called with him and Elite. Good show over there. Make sure y'all support that show. Make sure y'all go over and support Elite as well. She's building up her channel, so make sure you check all of them out. You know what he says. Like the thumb, hit the subs, and share with your folks. And it's on you, Farrell.
There you go. Yeah, definitely check us out all over social media. Obviously, with our names on the screen, man. Myself, Farrell NFL, PHAROAH NFL, all over social media. But most importantly, definitely subscribe to the channel on YouTube. And then, man, we got Around the Shield popping off on IG, on Twitter. So make sure to go over there and give us a follow. You get up-to-date updates on the Raiders. We got memes on Instagram. We got clips of the show. Definitely check it out, man. Definitely go over there and give us a follow on Instagram, Around the Shield on Instagram and on X. I'm still getting used to the name X, man. I'm always like, damn, he really calling
Twitter.
it X, man. I really want to say Twitter, but I gotta say X because that's what
it's still Twitter, man.
I know it's still Twitter. Y'all know what it is, man. So definitely go over and give us a follow there. We do this every week, every Friday, Around the Shield, with me, Severe, obviously Big Mike Raider, who's not here this week, but he'll be back. But next week, every Tuesdays, the 50-50 show. Make sure to tune in. Me and Severe, we're gonna have a lot to talk about, especially after this week's game. Oh yeah, we already picked the Bengals. Man, it's kind of nasty picking against the Raiders. I don't really do that too often, but man,
it's successful. It's successful.
I did it last week.
It's successful.
I did it last week, and it came to be true. And Raiders almost pulled off an upset. It looked like it was going to be a good game, but yeah, Raiders offense, man, is a whole nother story. But yeah, make sure to tune in every Tuesday evening nights, 50-50 show, me and Severe. And just tune into the channel overall, man, to see some new drops, new videos, new clips coming soon. And like my guy Severe said, the 50-50 shop is open. So get your latest gear, hoodies, shirts, you name it. We got it. Go over there and check it out. It's gonna be in the chat. It's gonna be linked and pinned, but also people watching the replay, it's gonna also be in the description. So definitely check that out. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. Hey, Severe, any last thoughts before we head out?
Yeah, man. Make sure, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys sub to Around the Shield or go follow Around the Shield on IG. Keep up with all of the latest and greatest in Raiders news. All that stuff, transactions, memes, all that good stuff. You guys find it. That's one-stop shop for all your Raiders content right there as well.
Yeah. So we appreciate everybody coming through, man. Hey, I was gonna do something for Halloween. I was gonna have some crazy, but I just was like, nah, man, I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. But maybe if the Raiders win this week, tune in next show. I might have something for y'all, man. Because I picked against the Raiders, so I gotta make it interesting this week. So if the Raiders win, I'm gonna have to come up with some type of funny, some funny mask or whatever you want to call it. But Severe is like, I ain't doing none of that.
If the Raiders win, you guys get the return on Hollywood Severe.
Hollywood Severe.
Hollywood Severe will be back. Hollywood Severe will make it.
You know, man. If you know, man. Man, so we up out of here, man. We'll see y'all. We'll see y'all next week. All right. Peace.
7-3.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
But yeah,
it usually cut me off. It usually cut me